Hi, Jenna.
Well, hi, Shelby.
And welcome back.
Welcome back. We are here for part 2 of Quicksilver by Callie Hart. If you have not read this book and you have not listened to our first episode, Quicksilver Part 1, go listen to that first. We're talking about everything for kind of like the first 2/3 of the book coming up to here. And now we're about to get into spoilers for the rest of Quicksilver.
Hell yeah. Let's get into it. Okay. So we kind of left off where we were talking about Malcolm and his gang of vampires are starting to break the ice.
Yes.
And I feel like this is where things really start to kick off. Because this is where we start to learn that, like, we have a whole new enemy. It is not the king like we thought it was. Like, the land as a whole, like all these high fae, have a whole enemy that is not what we thought it was.
Right. Yes. And that's so true, because I think we sort of, it's the same as any fantasy novel, right? But like we sort of think that Kingfisher is like not necessarily on the right side until we get to this point, and then we realize that there's so much worse than we knew was going on. Right. And I think that moment when they're cracking the ice and like all the vampires are falling through is when Ceres is like, oh, fuck. Like, that is okay. Like, this is a whole nother level. But I think that's when her and Kingfisher really start to have an understanding that he doesn't have to give her those exact commands, because up until that point he's kind of been like, no, stay in this room,
you have to do this, you have to do that,
have to. And I think that's one of those moments where they start to realize, like, okay, there's a level of trust where she realizes this is crazy, and she doesn't want anyone to have to experience that. So she's like, I will help you just because I care about people and I want to help them. And he kind of steps back and is like, okay, I won't be so controlling. I understand that you want to help them. Like, let's give it a shot to give you a little bit of free will and see what happens.
And there's a point where he goes, can I trust you to stay here unless it's needed for you to leave? And she goes, yes. And then at some point, Ren was like, you have to leave, you have to leave. And she goes, I told Kingfisher I wouldn't. And it's just her word at that point. She was not commanded to do it. And I loved that turnaround because it was just the trust. It was the trust between the two of them, and it was a shift.
It was, because because then that happened on the flip side too. Then a little bit into the book, when after they're in I think actually after that scene when he brings her back to his bedroom and he is like, stay here, and she opens the door and she steps outside, she can't. Yeah.
She can. Yeah.
She realizes that she's like, oh,
I wasn't commanded.
Right.
To
he's
stay.
like, he's just asking. He's just preferring that I stay here until he comes back, because he has things to deal with and he doesn't want to worry about my safety. And so having those two back to back, you start to realize, like, okay, we're figuring this out. We're communicating better.
Yes. Getting into some of those spicy scenes, though, you know what we didn't talk about?
Ooh, tell me.
The fact that he bit her. And then the tattoos. We haven't even touched on that.
We haven't even talked about the little Osha.
Oh my God, we haven't even talked about little Osha.
Okay, so without, well, I guess you probably can tell from my reaction, but what did you think of that as a nickname?
In the beginning, because I had never heard it and I didn't know what it was, I was like, oh, that's different. That's interesting. But it didn't dawn on me, like, until he actually explained, which is like why we have butterflies. And when he explained to me, that was like, oh, this is the most important thing in my life, and like, you are that.
See, I think I loved it from the beginning because what's her name? Evangeline, thank you. I was close.
You were so close.
The sister, she explains, like, pretty early that Osha is, a butterfly that, like, lives in like a very harsh climate for like a very short amount of time or something. But she
explains it very like vaguely.
Briefly.
Very brief.
But even with that brief explanation, for whatever reason, like, I loved that so much more than like baby or like pretty little girl one. Or whatever. I feel like you hear a lot of other
for sure
pet names, or even, as much as I love Fourth Wing, like, Violence, hate that as
I do too.
Pet name. Like, there's plenty of pet names I hate. For whatever reason, I loved Osha. I thought that was so cute.
It was cute because it's so unique.
It was really unique. So unique. It was cute. And it wasn't, I don't know. Like, even just saying it didn't feel cringy.
It wasn't cringe. it wasn't cringy. You could tell there was meaning behind it. We just didn't know what it was to start.
Which I love that.
Oh my God, I loved it so much. It was so cute. So the scene where they actually go see the butterflies. Do you remember that?
Nope.
Okay,
Remind me.
So he basically takes her to the place where they like see the Oceanina butterflies or whatever. And she like watches them all light up.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God.
Aww.
I loved the scene though when he like bites her and she doesn't realize, like he had like grazed.
And it's like just like a little toothpick, you know, right there.
A little bit right there. And then she's like at lunch or dinner, wherever she is with like their friends, and he goes, what is that? And then they like randomly start talking about like, oh, if somebody bites another person, that is a like extremely intimate thing. Like that is like, it turns them into a frenzy. Like, and she's like, oh, is that what he did to me last night? And then the next time she goes, bite me, bitch.
Right? And she's like, no, I want to know what that's in. She's like,
bite me.
She's like, put it all on the table. You want to do that?
You want to do it? We'll do it.
And then, okay, this is just so ridiculous. But that scene immediately afterwards, as he's like, you know, doing the black smoking her clothes off of her and stuff.
Oh my God.
The song that was running in the back.
What was it? Tell me.
You
have to.
The song that was running in the back of my head was like that Selena Gomez, can't keep my hands to myself.
I mean, I could, but why would I want to?
And so
I just can't.
That whole scene when he was like, yeah, no, I'm not holding back anymore. If you're giving me the okay, give me the green light, I'm going. And that song was like, well, that's what was going in my head.
But why would I want to?
So I thought that was funny.
Oh my God, I love it so much. I love that she was just like, fine, do it.
She's like, yeah, okay.
Go ahead. She's like, if we're going to experience this, we're going to do it to the fullest.
Right?
Oh.
She was the fullest.
You know, I'm not going to say I'm not mad about it.
I feel like I gotta like lean away from this mic because I'm cackling too loud. Cackling.
This was me reading this book though.
I know.
I was laughing so hard. There is not a book that I read that I'm like, oh my God, this is so funny.
It was so funny.
Quicksilver, you guys, I was fucking dying.
Dude.
I was kicking my feet. I was laughing. I was giggling. I was like, like I was like talking out loud to myself.
Sarah's internal monologue is so funny.
It's so funny. But not only her, like the other people's interactions too. It was so funny. And I think that's why I liked this book so much, is because I enjoyed it so much. Like I was immersed. It made me laugh. It made me cry. I was like all of the emotions on the spectrum. It was crazy.
Oh, I love that.
I love it. So he bites her. They fuck. And well, so the tattoos.
Oh yes, okay. So they're like in the middle of it, and her hand is on his chest, and she's watching the tattoos like moving in his skin, and then come onto her arm, and then you see like the little bird is like flapping its wings on her arm,
like on her flying to her chest. Yeah.
And she is so salty about it. In the morning, she wakes up and she looks at herself in the mirror, and she's like, "I did not sign up for this." She's like, you take this back.
Take it back.
I do not want this. And he's like, well, fine, cover it up if you want to.
Yeah.
Like we all know like he wouldn't be okay with that.
No, he's like, go to a tattoo artist. You can get it cleaned up, whatever. And he's like, whatever. Clearly he was not like, whatever.
Oh, no.
The fact that she was so mad though. Okay, granted, I am tatted. Like I have lots of tattoos, and so for me I'd be like, that's sweet.
That'd be pretty cool.
It'd be pretty cool. She was so mad, and she didn't even know the meaning behind it.
Right.
So I was like, girl, why are you so mad? Why are you so mad? There's no reason. But she was very mad. And then he was like, okay, basically you get 30 days to like cover it up, and if you don't decide to, whatever. Like he doesn't explain it right away. He's like, whatever, you give it a month, and then if you want to cover it up or you want to do whatever, like do what you want. And she's like, what does that even mean? So then I feel like later on in the book, when the tattoos are explained, it was the healer, Maja, that had been healing him from the Quicksilver. And she had been kind of like trying to find different ways to like heal this Quicksilver out of him. And she had like Sarah had come back from something. And so she had seen all of the different like runes on Maja. And she was like, what are those? And she goes, oh, honey, those are like my love runes. Like, I was healed and all these things. Like, I've got all of my like partner runes on here and stuff. And she's like, that's on me, right? And so she starts to ask about like these tattoos. And she goes, at this point, they've fucked multiple times. And so she gets all these tattoos on her body. And she goes, what do you think about like getting tattoos of like scripture? And she goes, oh, that has not been seen in thousands of years. That is like from the heavens, from the gods. Like, this is like a fated union. And she's like, and I had no idea.
Oh, no idea. She was like, I didn't think it was that serious, man. I thought he was just hot. I didn't know I was signing up for forever. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they were like, oh yeah, this is unheard of. Like, why? Do you know somebody who's had that? And she's like, no. And she like covers herself up.
No, absolutely not.
Never.
Not me. Couldn't be.
Well, and so then it kind of brings back to the fact that like, Kingfisher was like purposefully being very vague with her. And she was like, bitch, what the fuck? Like, these are God runes? These are like, we're fated. And he's like, I thought you knew.
That's my favorite. Like, the whole time I feel like he's so casual. Like, he probably kind of knows what's going on the whole time.
Does.
He's just like, oh, I bait you. I know I didn't. What are you talking about?
I didn't do it.
Tattoos, it'll go away. It's
you
whatever.
Can cover
it's
it
just
up if you want.
Like, he's so casual about it the whole time. And he's like, oh, it's no big
she's
deal.
Freaking the fuck out.
Right. Or having no idea what's going on. One of the two.
Yeah. And he's like, well, oh yeah, by the way, so I did already talk to the healers about it. And if you like, we extended the time. So like, that's a mate rune. And if you want to be my mate, it's like, if you want to be my mate, you have 30 days to accept the bond. It's like a month-ish, whatever. You have a month to accept my bond, and if not, it kind of just dissipates, and the tattoos will go away. He's like, but, like, I prefer not to.
He's like, I'll take it.
I'll take it.
I'm not saying no.
And then when they fuck again, they're permanent on him. And she goes, why did I get more? And he goes, oh, yeah, I accepted the bond. By the way. Just quick FYI, I accepted that bond between us.
He's like, I'm in this. I'm in this.
I'm in. And I was like, yes, ma'am. A man who knows what he wants. This is amazing. He's like, girl, I want you and only you.
Oh, we love that.
We love it.
We love that commitment.
We love it. So, okay, what did you think about the spice in this book?
Oh, amazing.
10
Perfect.
out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Yes.
Yeah. But no notes.
What level of chili spice would you say that is?
I would say 3 out of 5, I think is probably where I'd put it. And I say that because there's multiple very open door scenes, but it's not the whole book. Like there are, like I think 4 and 5 I leave for like, it is erotica. Like it is mainly just spice. Versus I feel like this had very spicy scenes, but they were like specific scenes interspersed. With a lot of other storyline.
Lots of other plot happening.
Yeah. What about you? Is that about the same?
Honestly, yeah, that was perfectly said.
Yeah.
I would say the same exact thing, like probably 3 to 4. I'm like, but the scenes itself were
high quality.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Very high quality.
Loved it. I had to stop. It was so good. How would audio too? Woo.
How would you compare it to some of the other books with spice that you've read, say, in the last 12 months?
Well, okay, I've
read a lot. I know.
I've read a lot of spice, but I've read a lot of like really taboo romances that are like 4 to 5 chili peppers.
Yeah.
And so
what about like Phantasma? Compare it to like that, because I know that was really high on the spice level for you too.
You know what? I will say it is right. It is equal.
That's kind of where I'd put it too, because I feel like that was also like very high quality spice.
Loved it.
And like maybe even in some ways a similar level of spice.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's another suggestion. If you read Quicksilver and you loved it, I think Phantasma could be a really good
100%.
suggestion, because I feel like that's like a similar level of spice to plot.
Yeah, 100%. And I like the second one even more. So
nice. Yeah, I'm excited to read it.
Oh, I'm so pumped. So yeah, the spice is so good. It was like, I still think about it.
Good.
Because some of the things that he said.
Oh man, he had the best one-liners.
Best one-liners. I'm about to introduce you to all 7 gods, Sarah's Fane.
Dude, Kingfisher's got a dirty fucking mouth.
You can tell them who you worship on your knees.
And also, like, the very first time when they're getting together, and he's like, I smelled a little bit of you on my lap, and he's like, I've been waiting to taste you for days. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Like, if that was me, I'd be like, yep, zipping my mouth. I loved it. One of the times when he completely bathes her in darkness, and he was like rubbing the shadows all over her, and they were like holding her down and like doing other things.
Tell me that didn't give you Broken Bonds vibes.
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
Y'all, if you like Spice, the Broken Bond series.
By something Brie. Brie something. What's her last name?
Brie, yeah. J. Brie.
Yes, Broken Bonds. We love that series.
Broken Bonds, we love it.
Bonds that tie. Sorry, that's what I call it.
The bonds that tie, yes.
Anyways, continue.
Woo. Yeah, there are shadow daddies. Kingfisher is a shadow daddy, and he holds the... Whoo!
Yep.
Whoo! I'm like, so how do we... 1 + 1 = 2. I'm like, how do we reenact that?
Right. Right.
Love it. Oh my God. But so like the tattoos and the bond, and she finally realizes like what's happening. And she's like, do I actually want to accept this? Is this something that I actually want to do? And so she's like going through this whole like back and forth with herself. I'm like, I have no idea if this is something that I want to do, or if like, do I even want to go down? I'm a human. He's not a human. He is Fae. So it's like...
And that's the thing is, like, she doesn't know at this point that she was already Fae, right?
Right.
Like, she doesn't realize that that's going on. So she still thinks she's just fully a human with some, maybe a tiny bit of Fae somewhere in the past and some weird abilities to do alchemy. She has
no idea. She just thinks she's like this alchemist that like happens every couple generations. And so then we get to the point where... So right now, we're like... in the hometown, and they're like, oh, another battle, whatever, and we look, and like Malcolm is like scream shouting at everybody, and he's got Everane, Kingfisher's sister, and they're like, oh my God, and I pictured like a little like telescope, and they're looking at her, and they're like, oh my God, she's got the bite marks, she's been bitten, that means she's enthralled to Malcolm, and everybody's like demeanor just drops, and she's like, well, what does that mean? I don't understand. Like, we can just go get her. And they're like, honey, you don't understand. What's happening is when you get turned, you like become enthralled to the person that turned you. And so we learn that Malcolm is this kind of person that like he's the only high fae to be able to turn other high fae into vampires, because he's been also turning humans that turn into like food for them. But like if he's not the one that turns people, they turn into this like soulless zombie type of thing. And so now they're like, wow, yeah, Malcolm is like the real threat. Like, he is the threat. So everybody's like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Like, how do we get her back? What do we do? And Kingfisher is just like in his mind. Like, I don't know what to do here. And so him and Saris have like their last hurrah, like in his mother's apartment that she left for him. And he was like, okay, he like lights all the candles in the little room. And he's like, we're going to make this the most
makes it special.
Night. It's so special. And when they finish, she like falls asleep, and he's gone in the morning or whenever she wakes up, and he leaves her a letter, and he leaves an open portal for her. And he basically says like, best of luck to you. Good job. He said, I'm going to go find Everane. I will throw her through the portal. You will catch her, and you will make sure that she survives. Do not worry about me. I will be fine. He will not be fine.
Nor will she stay.
Of course not. And so he's like, basically like, go back to the library. She would come through there. You will be safe. You guys will all be safe. I'm sacrificing myself for you guys. Mm-hmm. And so she's freaking the fuck out. So she like wakes up and she's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. She goes through the portal. She's in the library and she's telling everybody what the letter says. And they're all like, oh my God, he's sacrificing himself. What do we do? And so they come up with this plan to be like, okay, she's going to come through the portal, but we've realized that there's a lag time. So the portal may stay open for a little bit longer. So we all have to get through the portal to go back to where he is. Mm-hmm. And so Everane comes through the ceiling of the library. And so they have to like throw each other up through, through the ceiling. So like Carrion goes first. Then Ren throws Saris through. Or maybe it's not Ren. Maybe it's somebody else. But
one of the friends.
There's like two of them that are super similar in my head. They throw each other through. And one other person goes through. And I forgot to mention that like, so while Malcolm is like yelling through the trench, we realize that there's another person that Malcolm has turned, and he knows Kingfisher real well. And I'm like, while I was reading it, I'm like, there is definitely a connection there.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's like,
there's some backstory we don't know yet.
Hello, brother, type of thing. I'm like, that's really interesting. Why do you know him so well? Well, it'll be important for later. So basically, at this point, they're all thrown through the portal. They land in, like, this body of water. And Ren or the other one, has to, like, help them out. They end up in this auditorium. They, like, climb up the wall. And they're like, oh, my God. And who's there? Malcolm, the king, and the queen from the human realms.
Which, up until this point, we've had this, like, oh, she's been alive for so many years. How is she still alive? Like, I wonder how. We're like, oh, that's how.
That's how. That's 100% how. And they all kind of talk about how they're like brother and sister, but like not blood related, but like fucking
it's weird.
Right?
It's weird. It feels very incesty, even though I don't really know what's going on there.
Because it also seemed like they were like kind of fucking.
That's why I said incesty. Yeah.
So they like climb up this rock wall. They're in this auditorium, and Kingfisher is like being held by his like will. Mm-hmm. And so they're all like introduced to the king, right? And Saris is like, oh, I'm Saris. So Ren was not the person that followed them through the portal. It was Lorith. Mm-hmm. And just to like briefly talk about like what happened with Lorith. So like years and years and years ago, like before Kingfisher even like was enthralled with everything that was happening, they were in battle and Lorith was dying, and Kingfisher gave part of his soul to save Lorith. And so they both feel like they have a debt to each other. Mm-hmm. And so that's why Lorith has been so loyal. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh my gosh, like totally why he's been like enthralled to Kingfisher. Mm-hmm. So they're through the portal, they're introducing themselves, and Saris is like, I'm Saris, and Lorith is like, hey, I'm Lorith, and Karen is like, I'm Carrion, and they like stop him, like, you human scum, get the fuck out of here. Like they try to bite him, and he's like, should have waited.
He's like, should have let me introduce myself.
Bitches.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
Carrion, son of all of the witches. I loved that twist, though. What'd you think?
Yeah, no, that was so fun. Because I think you like kind of get a sense that there had to have been something else going on with Carrion this whole time. But like you sort of think he's just a lovable sidekick until you get to that point. And you're like, oh no, you like actually meant something this whole time.
Uh-huh. We'll get into that. I cannot wait to talk about that. So now they're at this point where they're like, oh yeah, hey Kingfisher, let's show her what you went through for these last 100 years. Yeah. And they talk about how there was a coin they flipped up, and you either heads or tails, and if it lands on it, the deal ends, but like it doesn't land on the ground. It lands in a pile of whatever, or so they think. And so they end up in this maze. they're like going through, the walls are changing, there's different like demons. I pictured it like Mortal Kombat, where you have like different levels of like,
oh yeah, that's probably better. I was imagining it like Harry Potter, fourth Harry Potter, when they're going through the maze and they like also run into some random things along the way. That's what I was imagining.
I mean, that's probably more like it though.
I mean, I don't know.
But anyway, the spider. I don't like a spider.
Yeah, I don't like spiders either.
It was like running around, but it's blind and it just tracks your movement, and so you just have to like stay still and like, oh my god,
yikes.
So they finally like get through, and when they make it through, at some point they were like, hey, yeah, so you weren't supposed to make it through. And some point she realizes like, the Quicksilver is the coin, and I can find it.
Mm-hmm. And now all this practice of Kingfisher having hit it with Curion, or hiding it in the box, or putting all these other places, and her having to listen and search for it.
Yep.
Now that actually has had some value. Yeah.
For sure. Which I loved, because I was like, wait, no, she knows how to do this. It was in the middle of the fucking spider.
Get up on them goods now.
I was like, no, oh my god. Like reading it, I was like, oh, this is so bad. It's so bad. Because she had to like, the spider was dead, like with his mouth open, and she had to like reach her hand inside of it and grab it.
Yeah.
But who shows up while that's happening? Fucking Malcolm.
Right.
And he's like, guess what, bitch? I'm not gonna let you take that. I know that that's a coin, and I hid it in there for a reason.
Right.
You can't take it. And so he's like, I'm gonna kill you, bitch. And he's like, kill. And she's like, no.
Yeah.
That's how I pictured it, though, because I was like,
ma'am.
there was so much happening that I'm like, details.
No, I love that. I love that.
Kill. No.
Oh my god.
And so she goes to like grab the coin and flip it up, and he's like, no, oh my god. And she like kills him, but he doesn't actually die, just like this.
Just like this. Love that.
And so the coin drops. Kingfisher's enthrallment is done.
Finally.
He's like, the deal is done, but she's dead. Like, he, like, kill her. Mm-hmm. And so she is, like, dead.
I'm dead. I'm alive.
I'm dead. Because she's coming in and out of consciousness.
Right.
But this was the coolest part of the book, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Like, this is the part where shit gets fucking crazy. Mm-hmm. She ends up in, like, the god world. So we didn't really talk about, like, in the beginning, they're like in this desert, and they talk about the 2 moons, and there's these gods and goddesses.
The 2 suns, isn't it?
2 suns.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's part of why it's like burning hot in their world. Yeah.
Yes, because there's like the 2 suns. Mm-hmm. And they talk about like these gods and goddesses that they used to follow. And then when she is in the castle, she's seeing like all these different portraits of like the gods and goddesses.
Representation of them. Yeah.
That they used to follow.
Yeah.
And so she ends up in this other world, and she is like laying in a field of poppies, and she's like, man, this is real nice. And these 2 women come up to her like, hello.
She's hey, like, you're girl. So pretty. You're like really pretty.
You're like really pretty, and like, can we be your friend?
And like, we hear you fuck Kingfisher. We like really like him.
We really love Kingfisher. He's like the partner to our dad, and we love him. How good was he?
Wait, girl, you have to come see our dad.
Wait, can we introduce you to... Wait, but how good was Kingfisher, though? Is he as big as he says he was?
I know, that scene is so wild, and she's like, who the fuck are you?
She's like, I'm sorry.
She's like, I have no idea what's going on.
Who are you? Why do you know who Kingfisher is? Yeah. Why is he the partner to
Where am I?
Where am I? And so they're like, let's take you to our dad.
Like, oh my God.
Oh my God. She's like, but you guys kind of look familiar, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
And so then she gets up to their dad, who is the god of chaos.
Right.
He is the one they're all like, oh, you turn a blind eye to him. Like, you don't want him to come to you. Mm-hmm. You say, yes, thank you very much, and you move on. And so they show up, and he is like, thought you might be here sometime soon. Like, figured Figured. And she's like, what the fuck is happening? And he's like, yeah, you basically, like, you get to choose a new life or you get to die. What do you want? So he brings her, like, through the garden, and he's showing her, like, these trees. And he goes, so this is the tree of life. And you have branches that are just all dying and then some that are thriving. And she goes, hold on. And he starts to explain how, like, these are the universes, these are all the planets, this is what's happening, and blah, blah, blah. And then she goes, so you just killed all of these people just because? And he goes, well, yeah, for sure. Like, it wasn't in my favor, so why would I keep them?
Right. Well, because he knows that her and Kingfisher just, like, keep coming together, and he keeps trying to pull them apart, and they keep coming together, and he keeps trying to do everything he can to place them separately so that they won't find their way to each other, because from his perspective, the world basically ends when they're coming together. And so he's like, no, I'm literally going to kill off these.
I'm trying to keep you guys apart.
He's like, I'm trying to kill off these branches to, like, keep you guys on the other side so that the end of the world doesn't happen.
Yes.
She's like, but I love him, Daddy.
But Daddy. I like it. She's like, but I want to be with him. And so he basically says to her, like, okay, you are going to become something that we've never seen before. And at this point, we don't know what's happened yet. And so she's like, well, yeah, okay, fine. I'll take it. I'll take it. And he goes, no, we're not going to be able to track you. We cannot check your fate. Basically, she was like, well, yeah, I'm going to choose the option that's going to keep me alive and keep me with Kingfisher.
Of course.
Like, I'm not going to die. I'm not going to let you, if I have a choice in it, I'm not going to die. He was like, okay, cool. Like, we're not going to be able to interject into your fate. So now, foreshadowing. This means, like, they are not going to intervene at all in her life.
Yep.
This is basically going to be the end of the world.
I know. I'm so curious to see if... Do you know how many books this is supposed to be?
I thought it was 5.
Okay, so we've got a while.
It's going to be a long
I kind of
time.
wonder if it's going to go off the rails for a while first. And she's going to be like, what did I do? Like, why did I do this? Right? Like, do you have any predictions for what you think will happen in Brimstone now?
Ooh. So let's get
further first?
Yep.
Okay.
They're like, okay, cool. Here you go. You can just be your own damn being. And she comes back, and Lorth is like, yeah, or no, not Lorth. The other vampire that was like his, like, Kingfisher's friend, but he was like in the trenches. He was like, yeah, I had to bite you because I couldn't keep you alive otherwise. And he's like, I'm so sorry. You are a vampire. And she's like, I'm sorry, what? And he goes, you turned over the last few days. Like, do you remember anything? And she's like, I was in this other god realm.
She's like, I don't know anything from what you're talking about. I was somewhere else.
Yes. And he was like, okay, well, I can give you the memories back, or I can keep them with me. And she goes, no, I want them. And so she, like, relives the whole thing. And she's like, oh, God, yeah, that's not fun. He goes, yeah, well, he's like, please don't hate me. Like, I hated my creator, but I want you to like me, like, we're friends, all this stuff. And Kingfisher comes back, and he goes, oh, your ears are pointed. And she goes, what? And he goes, and your eyes are different. And she's like, wait, what? And so she's realizing that she is high fae and a vampire. Where, like, this has never happened before. The vampires are only vampire, and they lose their high fae, or they're only high fae. She's a hybrid. It's like Vampire Diaries.
Right.
She's a hybrid.
Oh, I love it.
But here's the most insane part. So, because Malcolm was technically the line that turned her, she's next in line for the throne.
But he's dead now, right?
She killed him. He did.
Yeah.
He did. And so everybody is, like, conversing, and they're like, well, she is the next in line. And Kingfisher comes up to her all broody and all sad, and he's like, you've got a lot of choices coming up. And she goes, well, what's that? And she's, like, trying to, like, adjust to the sunlight and everything.
Yeah.
Like, she's
because
a
things
whole
feel
new being.
different for her.
For sure. And he goes, well, you're being coronated in 2 days. You are the next vampire queen. And he's like, I don't know what this means for us, because vampire queen and prince of high fae doesn't really go hand in hand.
Crazy.
So I feel like they're, on your question from earlier, like, where do I think this is going to go? I feel like initially it's going to be like a vampire court versus high fae court type of situation. But then I think eventually it's going to be like, well, what the fuck am I? Because I'm actually both.
Right. I'm curious to see how her personality shifts, if at all, now that she's got different urges or different like physiology, you know what I mean? And so I'm very curious to see how that changes her motivations and her interests, and if we'll get to see her like go off the dark side a little bit and be like, she's like, well, I'm leading these vampires, like, let me lead them to do what I want them to do, you know, which might not be exactly what the like high fae king wants to happen.
Absolutely. Well, and then so before she actually became like the hybrid, like she had accepted the bond with Kingfisher. And so is that gonna stay?
Oh yeah, like is the bond the same?
Right. Like we have lots of questions of bonds in other series, and I'm like, is it gonna stay the same here, or is it gonna change because now she's a different being?
Good question.
Guess we'll see with the tattoos.
Yeah.
And if they stay or not. Oh my god, I love it.
Yes.
Do you have any other predictions for it?
Yeah, I have literally no idea where I think this is going to go, which I actually think is really fun.
I love it.
I actually think that's really fun that I have literally no idea which direction it's going to go.
Same.
I kind of feel like we've got it at some point since the human queen, not human queen, but the queen from the human realm got involved. I feel like we've got to get maybe a little bit more time or involvement from the people that we briefly met on that side. So I'm curious to see how that's going to fit together, and maybe like how her brother's reaction is to the change of her situation now and her not being human at all. And does that mean that he was never human either? Is he high fae too? Or is it
because
like,
they were half siblings,
right? And so like, I don't think that is, but like, is that going to make him treat her differently now that he realizes that like they aren't actually the same?
Right. I wonder that too. Like, is Hayden actually going to come back? Like, how is that relationship going to go? I have lots of questions about that. And Carrion is now like such a bigger player in the whole plot. I'm like, oh my god, what is going to happen with him?
Right. And like, because he can't be turned because of his witch blood, is there like something that he's going to be able to contribute to like help?
Yes.
I don't know, prevent the spread of the disease, basically.
Right. Oh, that's going to be so interesting. Yeah, there are so many questions after this.
Yeah.
I have not been this excited to read a second in a series in so long.
Yeah. No, I'm super pumped. I already have it pre-ordered. I have the special edition from Waterstones pre-ordered. So.
Do you really? Yeah. I love that so much. I love it so much. Also, Callie.
But, you know, Callie, if you need any ARC readers, you got us.
You know that we would absolutely die reading it, and we would love to have you on this podcast. So we would love to talk all things. I love it so much. Well, do we have anything else for Quicksilver?
That's all I got for today.
Oh my gosh.
What a good one.
This was such a good one. This book had me captivated literally like the entire time. I loved it in physical form. I loved it in audio form. Kingfisher is my #1 book boyfriend. So
it was a winner. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope to see you next week.
We'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much.